This video is to discuss the impact that the novel coronavirus COVID-19 is having on criminal cases here in Coweta County, Georgia, particularly felony cases in Coweta County Superior Court. There are a few things that have changed, and by few I mean basically everything, that are important for folks who have criminal cases to know. The first one we'll talk about, or the first couple, are things that are particularly relevant to a defendant who is incarcerated at the county jail waiting trial or resolution of their case. One big thing and big change that the loved ones, presumably the people watching this video, are going to encounter is that the Coweta County Jail has closed or canceled for the meantime visitation. So as you know, if you're watching this and you have a loved one in jail, visitation in Coweta County is done via video chat there in the front of the jail. That has been canceled as of, I believe, it was recently in light of the COVID-19 outbreak. So that is obviously something that is a huge stressor on the families and the people that are in the jail as we feel isolated at home. Self-isolation and quarantine and social distancing. They are at the jail with no visitation permitted. Attorneys are allowed to visit during this time, but they are taking our temperatures before we enter the jail. One other thing that's important for folks who are in custody right now in Coweta is prosecutors and judges alike have been much more willing to consider bond cases that bonds may have not been granted in the first place, or maybe bonds were very high. This isn't all cases. Everything's a case-by-case basis, obviously, but there was and is a kind of a willingness in the name of public safety for the inmates, the folks that work there, and everybody involved to consider, at least reconsider bond. The answer may still be no, or it may still be high, but there is a willingness on behalf of prosecutors at this time to at least listen to the defense attorney, and reconsider bond, which is we are very appreciative of. So those are two of the big things that we've seen there. A couple of other changes are, at this point, if you're out on bond, your lawyer has been in contact with you, I'm sure. The only people going to court really right now are cases that have been deemed essential. And for the purposes in Coweta that have developed, an essential case that is going to be in court is someone who is in jail and is going to get out, or someone who is on bond and the prosecutors are seeking to revoke that bond. Those seem to be the cases, as well as, this isn't necessarily in Superior Court, but when you're arrested, your first appearances, things like that, have been deemed essential. I did have a preliminary hearing down in Meriwether County last week for someone who was arrested and being held with no bond. There are some things that are still happening, but if you've been to court in Coweta at all, you know it's usually very crowded. We are not seeing that now. It is very few lawyers, very few people. So those are kind of the things that are still happening. Another thing that is, really showing itself is for people who are in custody awaiting a trial. Under the judicial emergency that we're under right now, there are no juries being summoned. So if you're being held with no bond and you're waiting a jury trial, these are times that are, simply unprecedented. Even if you have a speedy trial demand filed, everything is told. So there's there's very little recourse right now other than hoping to get a bond that is reconsidered. Additionally, if you were arrested and you have not received an arraignment notice in the mail, you haven't been to court yet, there's a few reasons why, but we're seeing delays right now because there are no grand juries being summoned, right? So in theory, prosecutors can still file accusations, but there are no grand juries available to indict anyone, right? And my guess, and this is a guess, is that the prosecutors here, they draw up cases is what they call it, where after an arrest they get a case file and then there needs to be formal charges. I anticipate when things get back to normal that the prosecutors are going to be completely caught up on the cases they need to draw up, and we're going to see a rash of indictments and a rash of accusations that come out very quickly and really kind of flood the court system in a quick manner. But without grand juries, there can be no indictments right now. The prosecutors' offices are working to get discovery out to defense attorneys so that we can be working during this time as well, preparing cases and helping our clients out. So that is something to be on the lookout for too. These are, everything I've said right now is subject to change at any moment. We're dealing with stressful times. I hope that everyone's families are well and safe. I hope that everyone remains in their homes, safe as they can be. But some things are essential. We've got to eat. We've got things we've got to do. The courts in Coweta have done a great job communicating, but we're constantly subject to change in light of the circumstances. But I wanted to give everyone kind of an update, let folks know who may think the jails are closed, that the lawyers can get in, that the prosecutors are working with us on bond considerations, and that we expect to see an influx, and that speculation, but an influx of charges coming when this virus is over. Again, stay safe out there. Thank you.